Now to that deadly attack at a crowded beach in Australia this weekend. Australian authorities are investigating this as a hate-driven act targeting people gathered for a religious celebration. They believe the gunmen were inspired by ISIS. At least 15 people died in that attack, and the fear from what happened halfway across the world can be felt here in Metro Atlanta. Let's talk more about that with Jay Cranman, CEO of Jewish Family and Career Services in Atlanta. Jay, thank you for your time. I just want to start with your personal reaction. And when you heard news of this attack in Australia, what went through your mind and how are you processing it here on the second day of Hanukkah?
Well, good morning, and thanks for having me on the program this morning. It hit me really personally. I lived in Australia for about a year and a half, and I spent time in Bondi Beach. And so when the news came over that the shooting had happened, it both hit me personally and it also hit me professionally as a leader of a organization that is trying to make this Atlanta community a little bit better. My own son was on his way to Hebrew school, and instead of thinking about logistics and coordinating pickup times, my first thought was, is it safe for him to be visibly Jewish in our community? Is it safe for him to be at this gathering? And so it was a really personal and a difficult moment for sure.
Well, I want to ask you, I didn't realize you spent time in Australia. Did you ever encounter anti-Semitism over there, and how does it compare to what we've seen rising cases of anti-Semitism over here in America?
No, my time in Australia was only beautiful. I love the country. I thought it was just an incredible place. I was in my early 20s and it was really a fun time. So I can't say that I ever felt any anti-Semitism from people that were living in Australia. But I think you're right to highlight that anti-Semitism is growing. It's something that's become a massive issue, especially since October 7th. Something like, 1% of the people living in America are Jewish, but 50% of the hate crimes happen against Jewish people. So this is an issue that we are having to handle both as a Jewish community, and then especially here in the Atlanta community, our nonprofit, Jewish Family and Career Services, really tries to tackle this on a couple of fronts, but mostly on the mental health space. And so we have 30 clinicians who are seeing individuals, both youth and adults and older adults. And then we also go out into the Atlanta community and try to remove some of the stigma around mental health. And so I can tell you that our Jewish community here in Atlanta is strong and resilient, but I would be lying if I said there wasn't also grief and fear and real vulnerability.
Jay, you mentioned October 7th, and I know anti-Semitism has changed since then. People have been debating whether anti-Zionism is the same as anti-Semitism over the last few years. And I'm curious to know how you view that difference in light of the attack in Australia and whether that should change this conversation in any meaningful way.
I don't think anything should change the fact that there were 15 people showing up peacefully on a beach in Australia to try to celebrate a holiday that is about bringing light into the world, and they were killed. This was just murder. It was despicable. It was terrible. Nothing that is happening across the world should give anyone any pause to react to that, and anything other than disgust and distaste is my personal view.
What are you hearing from the local Jewish community, and what resources are you guys able to offer to those feeling anxious or threatened right now?
I think that, here in Atlanta, I think you're seeing what you would expect to see. You're seeing grief and fear and again, vulnerability. I just want to kind of provide context that, Jews represent about 15 million people globally. There's 100 times as many Christians, 100 times as many Muslims. So when things like this happen, even if it's thousands of miles away, it feels really personal and it makes us really concerned about our own safety. At the same time, I'm seeing our community continue to respond in the way that you would hope, which is to check in on one another, both Jews and non-Jews, to reach out. And so while there's fear and concern, I think there's also solidarity. And then to answer your question about what we're doing, we've reached out to our 200 nonprofit partners here in the community, so synagogues and churches and other nonprofit organizations, to make sure that we're available to offer our services, specifically in terms of when it comes to therapy and mental health support.
Jay Cranman, we wish you a happy Hanukkah. We thank you for coming on and putting this all in the context for us. And we hope it's a more peaceful end to the holiday worldwide. CEO of Jewish Family and Career Services of Atlanta, thank you for your time.